Hi guys, and yes, I am back making videos again finally. Sorry for those of you who are subscribed to my channel and thinking where the hell are all your videos. Unfortunately I went away for about 3 weeks over to China. Fantastic time, but being that I run my own business, when you go away for 3 weeks there's always going to be a bit of a backlash when you come home. So I've just been flat out busy with all of that, so I just haven't had a chance to really do anything in the whole kind of hobby stuff, the gimbal work, anything like that. And also I haven't really had too many new products to be reviewing, so I'm delighted to say that I've got a brand new product in front of me right here, and that is the Feiyu-Tech G4S. Now before we go into details, this is just going to be an unboxing video. I'm going to do a full review. I've got the UK drone show coming up in Birmingham in 2 days time as of when I'm making this video, so I'm going to be able to take this to that and I'm going to do some videoing, walking around looking at the various bits and bobs there. No idea what to expect from that drone show. It's never been done before, but hopefully there's going to be some interesting information on there, and I might even do a separate video with that, accompanied with my other item that I do have, which is pointing at this right now, which is my 4K camera. So hopefully the quality of this channel will begin to improve over the next few months, and I will get this full review video of this on in the next couple of weeks, if not sooner. Anyway, enough talk like that. So as you can probably tell, I am already pretty attuned to handheld gimbals. Anyone who's a subscriber to my video channel will know this already. I basically had everything that Feiyu-Tech have ever made has been sent to me. This here is the G3 Ultra, the original sort of handheld 3-axis gimbal. This here is the G4 at the back, so the baby brother to this. And then over here we have the Zion Evolution, which is the most recent one that I've done a review of, not made by Feiyu-Tech, and I was thoroughly impressed by this and everything that Zion have made so far. So this is kind of Feiyu-Tech's comeback against Zion. This is kind of their equivalent of the Evolution. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they've actually performed with it. And with that, let's just get to the unboxing so we can see what we get in this. Now, boxes have never been too bad of a problem in terms of these gimbals from Feiyu-Tech, but I am delighted to say that when you open this box, you are greeted with a full-blown, rather lovely quality, sort of fake carbon feel carry case, which comes with a handle, nice little rubberized Feiyu-Tech logo, really nice quality. I believe this is basically the same as you get in their new wearable gimbal, the WG. The thing that makes me think that when I open this up, you will see, is the fact that there is in fact the letters WG sat there on a G4S. Anyway, we're not going to be too fussed about that. As you can see, foam packaging in here. Let me just get that a bit better in shot for you. So nice simple layout, but a really handy feature. This is something that I desperately could have done with the Zion gimbal, because I've been using that in China, and all of the other products. It's been a bit of a, you know, you throw these in your camera bag and you worry, are they going to break? The G3 Ultra had all of these wires that were hanging around. Obviously they've got rid of that now in these newer models, which is nice to see. However, you still got a bit of a paranoia that you're going to break a rather expensive piece of equipment. You know, these are retailing at $350. Bit of a fight for Feiyu-Tech to send me one, but I finally proved to them that with 175,000 views of my G3 Ultra video, that it was well worthwhile them sending me some sample stuff to do the reviews of. But the key really is that, you know, they're constantly improving these things, and it's nice to see. They had a bit of a failing with their Mini 3D. I'm hoping I'm going to get the newer version of that sent to me as well. So I'm really hoping this is going to perform. Anyway, review will show us all of those details. Let's just take a quick look at what you get. You get a 2-part gimbal, so you get the top part here, and then you get the bottom part here, knurled aluminium as always, really nice quality. So I'm just going to screw this up so we can see how it compares in size. So if we just hold this up against its baby brother, the G4, you can see just about, it's ever so slightly shorter, but not hugely, but nice, neat, you know, fits in your hand nicely. Interestingly, when you hold it up against the Zion product, there's a huge difference, in fact to the point where I can barely fit it on screen. The Zion is incredibly long, and that is because it does have two very large capacity batteries, so that's a plus point in some respect, but it's also a negative in others, because that length does actually, you know, increase the weight, and it increases kind of, you know, the handheld wear, everything like that. So it's you know, this is a good compact size, and the fact that you can slot it all together and stick it in this little carry case is a really nice feature. I'm very impressed with that. So other things to look at on the base of the handle, this is a change for Feiyu-Tech. Previously on all their previous versions, including the G3, the base had a button on the bottom of it. So this is actually the on-off button. Click, 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 click. This is actually one of these threaded mounts that I had to purchase separately, and inside that there is basically a thread, an internal thread, which allows you to attach the additional extension pole. So that hasn't changed. You've still got that, and you can still use your old extension pole on the new ones. However, what they have done away with is they have done away with the button, and very nice to see that, because it was a silly place to put it, especially if you're using the pole, because you had to undo the pole, turn it on, do the pole up, and then, you know, I mean, just daft. It's now got a 1/4 inch thread, which is exactly the same as what Zion had done with their Evolution. So as you can see, that is a 1/4 inch tripod thread, so you can then attach it to a tripod. Nice and neat, very simple idea, and I'm glad that Feiyu-Tech have followed suit in doing that. So that's the major change on the bottom of that. The other thing that is very similar to Zion is the addition of this little joystick. So you can see here there's a little thumbstick that will control your left, your right, your up, your down, and all the functions. And again, that is something that Zion did on their Evolution, so it'll be interesting to see how they compare in terms of movement, everything like that. The one thing that Zion had done that Feiyu-Tech haven't is that Zion actually have a separate on-off switch on the side here, a little sort of brass switch here. Now that isn't present on the G4S. It's all done via this main button, so you hold that button down, that will turn your gimbal on. However, I believe there are standby modes and things like that, and again, when it comes to product testing, then we will see. Now the other thing that I do like about what I'm seeing in front of me here is the fact that you have got two sets of batteries. Now this will use two batteries to power it, which means that you will have a charger here, which is a USB charger, you know, fairly cheap, lightweight stuff. But the point is that you will have a spare pair of batteries, and they'll fit in your carry case. Now when they developed the G3 Ultra, it came with 4 batteries, but it needed 3 to actually use them. Completely ridiculous. It meant you had 1 spare battery, but of course when the 3 batteries that you're using died, you're screwed. So it's nice to see that they've thought about that. You know, again, it doesn't take a rocket science to work out that that's a good idea, but it's good to see. Now the other major change, and this is where it really does sort of set aside from the Zion product, is this little USB. Now I'm going to just try and zoom in on that slightly. So if we just get a bit tighter here, you will see that there is now an integrated USB port here, whereas all of the other ones, if you wanted to power the GoPro or take the video output from the GoPro to an external monitor, you could do that with the Zion. There's a little mini jack here, so the output of that would be video, but you would have a little cable that would run from this port at the back here, and it would dangle around, and then it would plug into the side of the GoPro here. Now dangly cables, we want shot of those, and I'm really happy to see that Feiyu-Tech have given consideration to that. So basically that then means that the fitment of your GoPro is just a case of you slide the side panel out, and then all you're going to have to do is basically slide the GoPro down, and boom, and it's connected. Now that means that the GoPro is going to be powered by the internal batteries, so that might, you know, reduce a bit of work time in terms of the gimbal itself, but you do have a spare set of batteries, which is good. Obviously it's going to increase recording time of the GoPro, which if you're using something like 4K, that's going to make a big difference as well, because it is very power hungry. So again, I think that's quite a nice little feature there. And the other thing that's actually quite nice about it is the very simple clip mounting. So to hold this in place firmly, they've now done away with screws and these thumb screws that Zion use and Feiyu-Tech have always used in the past. It's now just a very simple plastic clip. So that's going to be a nice feature. Now in the little side pocket we've got the usual gubbins, we've got the USB device, we've got a USB cable, we've got the mini jack, so you can take the video output from the camera and you can actually put that into a monitor, and that's done via the USB. So underneath this little plastic cover here there's a USB slot, and that's obviously taking video from the camera to there, and then out of that you can then plug it into an external monitor. So again, nice that they've thought of that. And the other thing that I'll just quickly get out of here, which I think is well worthwhile showing, is this. So this is actually the way that you mount and firmly secure your gimbal. You literally just push that down and you clip it in place. And because this thing's going to be stable, you know, it's going to be in balance, it's not going to be flopping side and side, and the fact that you've got that USB plug, I think that's going to really keep it quite nice and solid. And then finally, if we just move to the back here, the other thing that you've got is you've got a couple of slider switches, a little bit hard to see on that shot, so let's just put that up in shot. So there's a micro USB output and there's some slider switches. Now my understanding is that this actually gives you the ability to be able to decide whether you're charging your camera. And it also means that you can get to the USB functionality of the camera by plugging in the micro USB and then running it to your computer. So you can control the camera features, you know, you can get information from it. Now why would you need to do that? Why wouldn't you just take the memory card out? Well, obviously if you've got a memory card slot you could take the camera off and do that, but bear in mind that the lens is now in the middle. So good in terms of center of gravity and, you know, not waving around. However, that means of course that none of the ports on the side of the camera are accessible because they are all tucked up firmly against this. So you can't get to your HDMI output, you can't get to your micro SD card. Now in theory that shouldn't be a problem because you're not going to be using your HDMI output for this, and obviously you're going to be using your USB for powering it via the gimbal. So there is some real good thought that's been put into that. Anyway, at that point I'm going to leave it at that. Let me just zoom out a little bit so you can see the full package again. So that is literally just the unboxing of it. Really nice, promising start, I would say. Obviously, as always with these things, if they look great but they don't perform, they're pointless. So I'm going to be doing some nice stringent testing with it. I'm going to be looking specifically for roll drift, which has been a bit of a problem for Feiyu-Tech handhelds of the past. And also one of the major problems that Feiyu-Tech have suffered with is where the camera will just ever so slightly start tilting out of whack whilst you're pointing it at camera. It's not so much a roll drift, it's just the fact that the IMU isn't staying fully stable. So it will be very interesting to see whether or not there's any, you know, what I would call glitching out whilst it's doing it. So plenty of tests that I can do with that, and most importantly, you know, I've got a nice big full event at the UK drone show that I can go to and walk around and really get, you know, an idea of how this improves your footage compared to just using a GoPro, you know, maybe just clipped onto you or something like that. So I'll do some side-by-side comparisons, and I'll also take my 4K video camera, which is above here, so I can take some better footage, zoom in footage and things like that of all the new products that are on display there. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. If it's the first time you've watched one of my videos, then please subscribe. The full review will be coming up, like I say, in the next couple of weeks, if not sooner. And if the drone show is of interest, then I will take as much footage as I can and hopefully get some product details and some little insights of what's going on there. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.